Happy Wednesday. I feel like Dubai is interesting because every day feels like Friday in Dubai. It was a little bit interesting, but happy to be here. My name is Josh Gordon. I'm managing director of Chintai. We're a blockchain as a service platform that focuses on the tokenization of real world assets. A good panel earlier on real world assets, so happy to kind of add on to that. Tell you a little bit about what we're up to. We also have David here. David, tell us a little about yourself.
Thank you, Josh. Yep, I'm David Packer. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Chintai. We've been building in this space now since 2018. It's been a very, very long journey. We're going to take you through some of what we've been doing and tell you a bit about the history of the company and move over into exactly why we put so much traction right now in the real world asset space.
Awesome. Thank you, Dick.
Okay, so things that really differentiate us, I think, on this journey and why Chintai is a different company from many that operate in this space. We went very, very early for financial licensing in Singapore. It's an extremely hard journey that we took to get the capital market service license and the recognized market operator licenses. But they have given us the ability to tokenize any real world assets, securities, commodities, anything, and actually be able to operate all of that on chain, primary and secondary. And that was the vision and the original driver behind why we actually got into this. We started building out early on-chain order management systems, and we really wanted to figure out how we could inject value and bring as many assets on-chain as possible. So to do that, we figured out right early on, you need access to compliance and licensing very, very early. So to do that, that's precisely what we started to build out. The transaction monitoring side, real-time data analytics. We figured out we needed all of this to be as integrated a package as possible. There were a lot of problems in the industry, which we'll come on to on the next slide. But maybe by way, just a quick introduction to the two of us, because I don't think we cover our backgrounds. I got an 18-year career in traditional finance, starting out in Merrill Lynch in securities lending, moved spreaders was in derivatives, and then carried on at Goldman Sachs through the financial crisis, amongst other things. Josh, you want to quickly just talk about yourself?
A lot of our leadership team is kind of all from visual banking background. I came to lending was my primary background. I spent the last 12 years running one of the largest lending teams in the United States. What we did is we focus on actually providing services for family offices, bully out, that's it as cash flow products. I also run a co-founder of the venture investment advisory. So kind of our team has a good understanding of how to kind of navigate regulatory landscape, making sure we're doing it the right way. A lot of people talk about tokenizing assets. Very few people understand the clients and real product.
Yep, very good, Dave. I think let's go to the next slide. So the challenges I think are fairly well known, but I'm going to run through them very briefly for you all anyway. Liquidity constraints. Whenever we're originating and tokenizing something, liquidity is always at the heart of the problem that we have as collective industry. Because without liquidity, you're not going to be able to fill out and make success of the secondary market. You're usually going to have distribution challenges to maximize the seller. So that's a core thing that is driving real-world asset tokenization right now. Generally, the problem of tokenizing something in a compliant manner and not ending up on the wrong side of regulatory oversight and so on is another big problem that the industry is facing. And it's something that's put off the adoption of real-world assets for a long, long time. It's expensive to do. It's expensive to build that infrastructure out. And then the fragmentation of those markets too is another challenge. Yeah, how do you interlink all of the blockchain protocols to, in theory, seamlessly interlink and distribute and access that liquidity? Those are the core drivers who are challenges behind.
I think one of the interesting thing with private markets, a lot of people don't talk about is the opportunities for very high quality yield exists right now out there, but it's kind of a little bit like a boys bro split. You're either in the community or you're not. You get a large check to get access to these opportunities. Our goal really to be able to democratize access to these, be able to take you if you're an accredited investor, I mentioned a retail investor, hopefully developer, be able to come in and get access to this really amazing place, which is where most of the industries make its money. If you're going to go look at how well private markets is performed, or the public markets, it's not even close. So we want to be able to kind of give people access to that. Hence, how we're going to get partnered with DNA and their pilot not right.
Yep, very good. So in terms of this, I'm just going to really briefly run through this. As I mentioned, we're fully licensed. We're a team now close to 40 globally. We have offices in Singapore, Frankfurt, and the US, where we're seeing the most commercial traction right now. With a dual business model, which Josh is going to come onto and really guide into. With a dynamic marketplace where you can actually list real-world assets extremely rapidly and access multi-network level distribution and liquidity. As we're also a classic SaaS platform, which could be completely white labeled and rolled out as a product. An example you may all be familiar with is the BNA BLS, which we'll come on to shortly as well.
So kind of our two primary business models for Chintai is, first, we have our regulated entity, which is how we actually do this through Singapore. This is through our CMS and RMO licenses, where we do primary issuance to facilitate secondary trading. What we've realized was actually an amazing business model that we didn't expect, but to create a white good SaaS solution. I would say our primary business right now at Chintai is actually doing a tokenization as a service platform. We're kind of the shop eye tokenization. Let's say, for example, I'll get one of our real estate funds right now. We have a large real estate fund that currently is located in Canada. They understand the regulatory framework there, that they have the appropriate license to be able to deploy and raise capital. They have an LP, that's their largest LP in their fund, who recently had a $200 million windfall in the crypto industry, wants to remain on-chain, new all LP investments now with USDC, right, or USDT. So instead of them having to come off-chain to make investments, go through sub-dollars, have to go through the Cayman Islands, going back and forth and investing traditional way, we build a white label platform so that our real estate fund paid out through all the product offerings, on-chain, cap table management, dividends distribution, all in one place. Simple to be able to go in, attach your wallets, go through KYC, which we facilitate, and then you can actually be able to have any type of product offering right there. So we're finding a lot of success in this space. It's been surprising for us how much we've actually, if I were a year, we're raising money in Dubai because we need to double the size for our back end because of how much demand there's been with funds wanting to come on chain.
Yeah, it's just been actually a massive 6 months for us. The amount of traction we've seen, particularly in the US, I almost can't overstate it. We've got nearly $700 million USD now tokenized on chain since launch. I think we're tracking for a couple of billion by the end of the summer. And it comes down to having a customizable product suite of this nature.
So it's one of those things. Let's just say what really changed now is the institutional funds are actually coming to us now. We kind of service an intro space. Securitize has done a really good job at servicing the largest funds in the world, but they're not servicing that $100 billion to $5 billion asset manager. There's really nobody trying to bring those assets on chain right now. That's where we're coming in and focusing on that. So obviously we do on chain data and issuance distribution.
Yeah, and actually, let me just talk through the core features of the platform, because I think it's useful for people to get a sense of this. If you're a business, you want to actually get into this and actually tokenize things in a secure way. If you're able to factor in compliance, you're able to access the right licenses. These are generally the core things you're going to need access to. You're typically going to want to fill the business with your branding on top of it. So that's the white label side right there. You're going to want to be able to do primary issuance, distribute it, and usually deploy secondary market with liquidity. So we handle all of that, different types of secondary, OTC, order books, as well as full automated market making. We provide the efficiency gains that you get from tokenization, which we'll definitely delve more into. And the user interface is designed to really theory be accessible here via the mobile as well. And the entire automation, the compliance process is probably one of the most important aspects here. If you're operating a market, you need to be able to whitelist who the market participants are and ensure that, you're self-custodying Zemery as a whole in those tokens. You can't breach those. You can't send anywhere else. It's also a lot of people don't understand how to do the appropriate KYC. If you're doing the red B offering, that way it's 5 goes to C, 5 goes to B. If you're doing the reg A, I guess, you really have them fill PIs and asset up and combine, man. Yeah, I mean, the total addressable market I think speaks for itself. I mean, this is not even really including the Dover bond market, which is over 100 trillion anyway. The actual estimates generally are varying between $16 and $30 trillion on chain by 2030, depending on the study. It's on the conservative side, $60 trillion on chain. Think about the general size of the crypto market now. It's sitting in around 2.2 trillion mainly, as we state right now. What this means in practical terms is that the real asset RWA tokenization is the big hot topic and driver for the macro cycle of crypto going forward. Without any shadow of a doubt. Well, AI is very, very interesting. It is not got as proven an actual use case as RWA tokenization, which is why it's the hot thing right now. And it's because it encompasses really every asset. There is not really any single one that I can think of that will not move on chain. And That's not just me saying that. That's black. That's golden. In every single major financial institution global, it was source. I mean, also that the essential say is this is certainly why the financial institutions are doing this. They're not doing this to change the world, to democratize access to finance. They're not doing this to any other self-interest, which is absolutely fine. They can make enormous savings, and this is actually what I also reckon they are. So Simbright is also the compliance costs, centralized operation reductions, massive reduction of 50% overall in business operation costs. All of this translates to financial institutions to billions of dollars savings, and that is why they are generally starting to go East Street. Where it is very interesting is you look at it from the perspective of medium, small businesses that want to get into this. They can actually bypass a lot of the traditional finance groups that they can't save right now by using this technology. Give them a direct consumer or direct investor a way of effectively bringing liquid assets to direct investors. And that actually goes when you hear the word that's a really dollars. From top there about pricing, little reservation, very saying. There's a lot of people are saying this. We figure out a way to make it cheaper for these videos out. A whole idea of bike circulation has to make sense this time. And you actually make it cheaper for the other way under the business. But this is not screw picking that up by shit. They're rocket died and we're talking about monetization there next. So it's understanding that not only are we gear, not only do you get a token, but we actually have the profit. They use up that. A little bit of this. The situation that one you just lost it. We think our equity play is either for Kansas or sustainably. And those token. These thoughts about asset bird as a workman right now, commodities, out of credit, real estate, art funds, old funds. You can put so many different funds right now. We have 49 funds in the pipeline per day at this exact moment. You have 6 that are going live in the next 20 days. So we're going to be very excited. The more we people being forward, the more positive to keep it easy, the more you can see the opportunity. A lot of what. It's going to be very easy to tell you. Is we do just what I say, not the but for the really can't get bought is fully. Don't know that is the DNA guild that's actually the tokenization of the fund on all this anti-cohorts has inspired multiple discussions in Asia elsewhere about basing that model for alts. So FD is QE. Officer Rock. Just talking a little bit about the DNA guild desk. The behavior guys have not had the opportunity to go on and check out their desk. Whether you're a U.S. citizen or you're somebody that's from outside the U.S., we have the opportunity to invest in DNA's amazing portfolio companies. These are all tokenized opportunities where you can go and invest. I know that there's multiple some of these special animals stuff like here. So in the DNA fund itself, which is an easy way to invest it. So anything must know hours can find us after, come find Chris, Dave, anybody will have walk you through the KYCs and not probably get to invest. Obviously, just talking a little bit about trash and future milestones. You and Dilbert for a long time. The actual platform originally racing. They won our first simple and the gate they were 20 year. You launched the DNA Guild Desk Q3 this year. 2025 our goal is to continue to grow. We're submitted to grow for the other retail applications in the United States. Chintai wants to be the first try license cooking fish caker. So we want to have Singapore, we want to license here. In this region, we want to be obviously the U.S., but we've already part of that process. So we're going to continue to kind of make this sell balls. P1A. Opposite, this is talks about our revenue growth, the bro rat now, and where we're headed. This is pretty base days and SAFB leaks or this is actually the service of past. Yeah, we've got financial model in this show cash plus cash separate. This is on the surface side. I think what this illustrates too is the SaaS model. In many cases, as we are more the client, it's a strain low cost for us, it's high margin, and it may be done rapidly, and that's how anyway. The most extensive thing is building out their first 10 buys, right? And understanding exactly what they even and making that scalable. So we're at a now where you can go it from asking you have the last 1 point taking 10 weeks, we've got it down to 6 weeks. Our goal is to have it 2 weeks, right? That's all we see. Let's see. Okay, and I'm going to talk about the check token just because I think this is also relevant when understanding us has come. So we did a fully distributed. Okay, this follows nice Kamaba Haste when he last out. What does a good token distribution look like? We distributed in a 9-month cash auction across 9 months to 2019. We literally use 60% of the token supply to holders every 18 hours in a series of rounds. $250,000 were raised for that. Market cap at chest now, I think is 240 USD. So the whole stuff right. It does feel what you were saying about a price chart that will heal, but it's far more on that. The reason we did a distribution roughly did was in readiness to actually build out our own commission network that would eventually become fully covered and would eventually integrate into the wider DeFi system. So the token holders are effectively the owners of the blockchain RWA network. And the way we build this organized, I believe that that's very strong. It's auto-distributing already. Is max supply. There is no inflation on token. There is actually a small firm that links to commercial access to all that. But crucially as well, there is a continuous fireback where we will be about to activate and distribute to set holders. And they ask, well, where does that yield come from? It's coming from the issuances, all the commercial activity we're talking about already, as well as secondary, that actually operates on our network, or when they're transferring anticipation to other networks, got DMD and Fingers. So these are powerful tokenomics that in theory provide a very strong reason why the network is increasingly valuable it has. And generally, obviously, some people are not able to see the bulk of that round. Going theory gets primarily off around.
We could look at a slower approach to answering your field that wasn't enough being used quick and exiting. Be sure you have a larger percentage of payments now that you ever end this house. Yeah, it is never sold one. I said you never sold one.
No, I never sold this open in 5 or 6 years. Yeah. I actually bought a couple million recently as well. So you said the allocation of funds. I think this is just a classic breaker. We all sit here at 20 billion. And in terms of the valuation range, it's getting somewhere now with several larger companies who are potential leads for that. The indicative range I think is somewhere this way under 160 mil in terms of the that's the valuation for us. A lot of it is going to be used for further expansion of the team, as well as productivity in various aspects there. We are about to also start a major marketing push because many companies not necessarily heard of us, many in the space. What's their space for later in the year with regards to what kind of site you'll be hosting? But this is an important time for us. We have a limited window of opportunity to capitalize on our leadership in this space. As Geoff mentioned, it's really, I think, ourselves and Securitize globally right now are all the leaders in the space. So for us, we are at a very important time where expanding fast, building on the client base that we have, and maximizing the users we onboard is going to be a crucial thing for us and why we are at this in the first way with
Just figuring out the we create interoperability with all of this, all these ecosystems, kind of the mid-90s, your own keys, kind of here. We want to all work together. We see that RWA, this isn't going to be successful. We have to work like the baby ecosystem, be able to plug in each other all work. It's going to be beneficiaries, it's going to be traders. We all figure to that. Yeah. Now, our number is we're entering multi-chain future and self distribution. That's going to be pretty seamless to the end users.
I'm just a bit grateful on the scene. I think it's an inverted high quality scene. I would say that, wouldn't I? But ultimately, when you're looking at anything from an investment perspective, you're cutting the people to work there. They are indeed the lifeblood of people driving scores. The resumes speak for themselves, and you have deep down work on the technical side of finance, the compliance, and beyond. That's really, I think, been the foundation of why, as a company, being driven forward and managed to deliver this product in the way they have. And it leads me to feel very good about the future as well.
Just some of our partners that are people we're working with now, some people that will be coming soon that we've been working with because of projects coming at us. And then talk a little bit about media coverage. This week we actually got covered by Deloitte and Forbes, 2 of our issuances we had recently. We'll run a big PR agency to build up some product and even to bring us to life. It's not our primary coverage there. We need a lot of areas on the Turkey side. We're going to continue to make more and more noise because you believe that we will say to see successful projects in RWA. You don't want to have PK just personally cycling, copying, like tokenizing things. Do you actually so
validated? I actually create an already out there. I believe they increase skin out there actually is in summary.
You're around the 630.
Chris.
Aussie. Did I survive?
I think that's a wrap. Yeah, thank you everyone.